A population parameter is a number that represents the whole population. They are usually unknown values and must be estimated from the given data. The population mean is a population parameter that calculates the mean or average of the entire population. The population mean can be represented by the Greek letter mu. Another parameter is the population proportion, p, which is the number of members of the population sharing a particular attribute divided by the number of members in the population. So let's first start with the population mean. Mean, we all know, means that you just add up how many pieces of data you have and divide by the number of pieces of data total. For example, if we have 5 students with test scores of 100, 100, 91, 84, and 75, the population mean is found by adding 100 plus 100 plus 91 plus 84 plus 75, and since there is 5 pieces of data, dividing by 5. 450 is what you get when you add up all 5 of those test scores, and when you divide that by 5, you get 90. So the population mean is 90. Population proportion is a fraction, decimal, or percentage from the population that possesses a particular trait. For example, we could find the population proportion of the test scores that are higher than 90. So if you look above, you can see that there are 3 test scores that were higher than 90, 100, 100, and 91. So the number of test scores higher than 90 would be 3 out of the total 5 test scores. So we could say the population proportion is 3/5, or you can write it as a decimal. 3 divided by 5 would be 0.6 or 0.60, or you can choose to write that as a percent, and you could say that the population proportion is 60%, because we can move that decimal 2 places to the right and change that to a percent. All 51 students in a dorm were surveyed to see how many classes they are taking this semester. The results are shown at the table to the right. What does the population mean for the number of classes taken this semester? So if you look at the number of classes, the choices are that students could take either 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 classes. Now we're not just going to add those 5 numbers together and divide by 5. It's because over on the right column where it says number of residents, you can see that there is 6 residents that take 1 class. There are 5 residents that take 2 classes, and so on. So what that means is that since there are 6 residents that take 1 class, we may have to possibly take 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 6 times for each of the 6 residents, and then add to that the 5 residents that take 2 classes, so that would be 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2. And we could do that for all of them, especially when you get down to the 26 residents taking 3 classes. Writing a 3 down 26 times is going to be very time consuming. So instead of doing it that way, why don't we apply some multiplication here? So we do have 5 residents that take 1 class, or excuse me, 6 residents that take 1 class each. So 6 residents taking 1 class means that would be 6 total residents. 6 times 1 is 6. We would add to that, there are 5 residents that are taking 2 classes. Amongst those 5 residents, each taking 2 classes, that would be 5 times 2, which will be 10. We can do that for each set of numbers. So then we've got 26 residents who are taking 3 classes. We'll add to that the 11 residents taking 4 classes. And then we have 3 residents taking a full schedule of 5 classes. So 6 times 1 is 6, plus 5 times 2 is 10, plus 26 times 3 is 78, plus 11 times 4 is 44, plus 3 times 5 is 15. And let's see, when we add all that together, we got 6 plus 10 is 16, plus 78 is 94, plus 44 is 138, plus 15 is 153. And then we're going to divide that by the number of residents, and the number of residents, as said in the original problem, was 51. That is the same number in the number of residents column. So we take 153 divided by 51, and we get 3. So we can say that the population mean, there's my best Greek letter mu, equals 3. Population of 250 people, 90 said they would prefer running over hiking. What is the population proportion of people who prefer running over hiking? So the population proportion of people who prefer running over hiking would be 90 of the 250, and 90 divided by 250 is 0.36, which I could write that as 36%. What is the percent of the population prefers running to hiking, which I just did? It is 36%.